Hey guys, welcome to another Trade Genius podcast. Bob and Phil here. As always, guys, if you've missed a chunk of this move up in equities or in the commodity market, don't fret. Bob's got you a really bullish setup. Looks like it's going to play catch up here real quick. Let's dive in.
Trade Genius.
Hey everybody, Bob, Trade Genius here. Peace, love, and Trade Genius. Spring into some savings with us right now. We got some great specials running. Market is in precedented areas right now. We think we got a good handle on it. Go to tradelikeagenius.com. Take advantage of our spring specials. Thanks for listening. See you later.
Bob, this is one of the more bullish charts I've seen in quite a while.
Yeah, we talked gold on Monday, and I said silver actually started breaking out a little bit before, and silver is the race car to the gold sedan. And so I want to throw the first chart up here, and I want to show you some measured moves here. So you see that move that took it to $30, Phil?
Yeah.
We're getting the same setup again for silver, and a measured move could take us over $40 for silver. Now, I want to caution everybody, it's not next week. This is a trade between now and probably the next, I would say, 12 to 18 months. Now, it could happen fast because of all the leverage in the system, but what you want to do is just be positioned and just ride the wave up on it. And so we've been waiting a long time for this silver move. And it was really interesting, Phil, because I think all our podcasts are blending together for me. I think I was talking about when tech turns down, the market, they shift their bias to energy and to precious metals. So there's a recognition, Phil, that they can't get inflation under control, and the government is unwilling or unable to lower the deficit spending. And so you're going to see a compensation now into the basically to protect the asset mode here. And so silver started to move, gold moving, energy already started, uranium's probably in the last three innings of its move. And I think we're going to get another event like 2002, 2001 to 2010. So this could be a pretty big move, kind of a three-wave move. But this next move here is going to be pretty big because Powell's going to have to relent on interest rates. And when he does, then everybody and their brother is going to protect themselves. So I wanted to show you some charts too. First one is I think it's just a stock that we jumped in already is FSM. This is kind of indicative of all the silver miners right now, is that we had a move there. You notice our worm is at the bottom, and we have our worm turning and our momentum turning at the same time, and we flipped the vol stop. We're still in a sell the rip mode until that price breaks over that gray bar, but we're already up 3% on the trade, and we just got in yesterday. And once it flips that ranger, which is that gray bar, then we're going to buy the dip mode, and I think we're going to go ahead and we're going to assault that price level that we've seen back there in the last couple months. We're going to probably push back up there into the mid threes, and then we're going to see where we go from there. But that's indicative of all the silver miners. And if you want to talk AGQ, this is the leverage silver. And first chart I want to show you on AGQ is weekly. The weekly, look how long this thing is. This is amazing because this is a leverage ETF and it's been basing, Phil. Usually these things go into oblivion. So we have, an opportunity here. And I'm not suggesting you trade the leverage ETF. I'm just kind of showing you when a leverage ETF does not go down like that after a sustained push, then the cork is ready to go to the surface of the water. And this thing is now, the worm is turning on the weekly on this. And if you flip to the hourly, which is the next chart, you would have jumped on this thing about a week or so ago. And look at that move you would have had, Phil. And so the way you trade this with us is when that worm turns, there you see kind of a bluish bias, green macro momentum. The vol stop flipped and the ranger flipped. So you should still be in this trade if you're trading the ranger, and you would have got out when the vol stop flip, which is that red blue area on the line that's following price. But you would have jumped right back in again now, because the most bullish trade, Phil, is when the ranger is saying buy the dip and you get the momentum, the worm turning back to a buy bias. And then you don't even hesitate. You just jump in and set your stop and trail it and let it run up to the next level. So those are my thoughts, and I'd like to get your thoughts on silver, and if you want to make any comments on Bitcoin, because that is the trade du jour right now.
Well, going back to this silver chart, I think it's hard to argue against this right now. So I think there is a big upside move here. And, this is a lagging chart in terms of, the rest of the market. And I expect some capital rotation into this, because I notice in the markets now we're kind of chasing alpha, right? So things that haven't moved yet, we're seeing capital rotations, which means you might see something else consolidate and then silver is going to catch up. So I think that's definitely in play. And yeah, I think, there's a lot of commodity moves that are going to be happening along with the stock market. And, Bitcoin's a commodity too. So again, I don't see anything that is telling me that we're going to be derailed from a very bullish run, I think, into May and June on the markets. And, silver, I would be actually surprised if we did not get that upper target that you have up there somewhere between $64 and $68. I think that's completely reasonable if our blow off scenario happens. And, that's a pretty remarkable move for silver, which, is just always suppressed, it seems, right? But don't underestimate the move in silver just because it hasn't moved, or the velocity or the volatility in silver has been somewhat muted over the years. Don't be surprised though if we get this type of move, because it's capable. Look at what happened as we came out of the great financial crisis, right? We just zoomed out of that. And even if you look before the great financial crisis, as we got into the highs there before things really rolled over, silver had a pretty aggressive move up at the time toward $20. I actually remember that because we were in that move and took some profits ahead of the drop. And we also, I think, if I recall correctly, caught the dip after the mess of the great financial crisis, but didn't hold, all the way up. So silver can definitely squeeze just like the best of them. And so I think it's hard to argue this chart, Bob. It's a great looking chart you got here.
Yeah, and we just closed the trade on PLG, bought it at 101, just hit 109 right before we jumped on the call here. 8% move. We had that thing in 3 days. So this is what happens when money starts to push in. You start blowing out the stop, you start blowing out the shorts, and you get these massive moves. And then that usually attracts, the retail buyers to carry the rest of the way through. So really interesting to me. I love when the weekly worm turns, Phil, because that's telling me there's a bias now. Bigger money's coming in, base has been set, and then you could just use the hourly or the 4 hour to kind of pick your poison for, any kind of quick trade you want to get in and out of. But guys, if you want this stuff, just go to tradelikeagenius.com. What we charge for the service is nothing to what you get out of it. You get access to our indicators. This is just a couple of the indicators that we have. There's a lot of them that are part of the service, and you get into chat rooms and we put trades out every day. Our track record's on our website. You can see all the trades that we do. And when we got in, we got out, bias, targets and stops. So with that, Phil, I'll let you go and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Unemployment's coming up on Friday. We're going to talk a little bit about macro unemployment here tomorrow on our podcast.
All right, guys, we'll see you on the next episode. Take care.
Trade Genius.